Today we are going to practice division the box method. Okay, so you take a division problem. Let's say we're doing 5 and 126. So 126 divided by 5. So step number 1 is going to be set up your problem. So this is what it's given to you. And I'm going to set it up just a slightly different way. So I'm going to have 5. But watch what I do here. I'm just going to spread out my number just a little bit. I'm going to bring it down and I'm just making a square. Okay? And then I'm going to put my lines in. So I just took it and each number has its own little box. Okay? Now, the next step after I set up is I'm going to write my multiples, okay? So this is taking the number you're dividing by and writing all of its multiples down. It will make steps later easier. So I'm going to do 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. I always stop at the tens. Okay, so now I have my multiples. So now we're on to step 3. We're going to start the division process. So we go divide, multiply, subtract, bring up.
So divide, multiply, subtract, bring up.
Again, divide, multiply, subtract, bring up. Remember those hand motions.
Divide, multiply, subtract, bring up.
Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do is divide. If I have 1, how many times does 5 go into 1? Well, I'm going to look at my multiples and I need to find a number that's close to 1 but doesn't go over. Well, my first one is 5, so there's no number. So 5 goes into 1 0 times. My next step is multiply. 5 times 0 is 0. And I'm going to put it right underneath that 1. My next step is subtract. 1 minus 0 is 1. And my next one is bring up. So I'm going to take this 1 and bring it up right next to the next number in the second column. So now I'm going to look at 5 going into 12. How many times does 5 go into 12? Well, if I look down here, 15 is too big because it's larger than 12, but 10 is as close as I can get. And that's 5 times 1, 5 times 2. So 5 goes into 12 2 times. That's my divide. Now I'm going down to multiply. 5 times 2 is 10. And I write it right underneath. My next step is subtracting. So 12 minus 10 is 2. My next step is bring up. So I'm going to take that 2 and bring it up to the next place value. Now, 5 goes into 26 how many times? Again, I'm going to look at my multiples. Well, 30 is too big, but 25 is the closest I can get without going over. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 times 5. So I'm going to put my 5 above. 5 times 5 is 25. My next step is subtract. 26 minus 25 is 1. And since I don't have another spot to carry it over, that's going to be my leftover or my remainder. So 126 divided by 5 is 25 with a remainder of 1. Now, one of the things you can do to check your work to make sure that you're not making a mistake is to look at these numbers right down here. If any of these numbers after you subtract are larger than this number, then you know that you did something wrong. So that's an easy way to stop, check your work before you get all the way to the end and see that it doesn't work. So you look at the bottom. If your leftover from subtracting is larger than this number, then you need to go back and look at what you just did. Another thing is that if you notice, I only have one digit in each of these. You're never going to put 2 digits above. It's 1 digit only. Right? Let's try another one. And I would like you to try it with me. So we're gonna go step by step. So say I have the problem, let's do, say 672 divided by 3. Or you might see it like that. Both ways mean the same problem, okay? So step number 1, I wanna set up my problem for the box method. So I'm going to take 3. I'm going to start. It looks very similar to this. I'm just spreading it out a little bit more. Okay. Then I'm going to take these lines, turn it into a box. And then I'm going to split it up. Okay. So now I'm going to write down my multiples. And I'm doing the multiples of 3. I'm going to give you a second to fill out the multiples. Just pause this video and write the multiples out. Okay? All right, step number 3 is I'm going to start that division process. Okay?
Divide, multiply, subtract, bring up.
So how many times does 3 go into 6? Well, I'm going to look back at my multiples. I want you to write what you think at the top. So pause the video and figure out this first one, and then we'll check it together. Oh, if I look down here, 3 goes into 6 2 times because it's exactly 6. Again, I'm looking for the multiples to get either exactly the number, as close to it as I can without going over it. Those are my options. So 3 goes into 6 2 times. So I put the 2. Is that what you got? Hopefully it is. Now my next step is multiplying. So I would like you to pause the video, multiply it, and see what you get. Okay, so I did it. 3 times 2 is 6. I'm going to put it right underneath. The next step is going to be subtract and bring up. I would like you to try that on your own. Pause the video again. All right, so if I subtract, 6 minus 6 is 0. And then I'm going to bring that 0 up. So now I'm going to see how many times 3 goes into 7. What I would like you to do is to finish these 2 problems on your own, and while pausing the video, and then you can come back and check and see if you got the right answer, because it's about doing it, trying it. So pause the video. All right, so hopefully you finished the problem. Now I'm going to show you how to do it, and you can check your work. So 3 goes into 7. We're at the divide stage. 3 goes into 7 2 times because of 6. 9 is too big, so it's 6. So I'm going to put 2 on the top. Now I'm going to multiply. 3 times 2 is 6. I'm going to subtract, and that is 1. 1 is smaller than 3, so I'm still good. That's an easy way to check. Now I'm going to bring it up, and that 1 goes up to the next place value. Now how many times does 3 go into 12? I'm going to look down here. Well, it's exactly 12, and that's 3 times. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to put 4 at the top. Now I'm going to multiply. 3 times 4 is 12. My next step is subtract. Hopefully you also got a 0. And I don't have anything, I don't have another column to bring up, and this is 0, there's nothing, so there's no remainder. So 672 divided by 3 is 224. Okay. What we're gonna do is go through one more problem. I would like you to do the whole thing on your own, and then you can check it with us, okay? All right, so let's take 792, and we're gonna divide that by 4, okay? You're gonna do the whole thing on your own. So follow these steps. Set up your problem, write out the multiples, then go through the steps of division. Remember the hand emotions.
Divide, multiply, subtract, bring up.
And see what you get, and then unpause the tape so that you can see if it matches. All right, so now I'm gonna go through it, and I want to see how it is against your work. Okay, so set up. Now I'm going to do my multiples. Now I'm going to do the division. Step number 1 is to divide. 4 goes into 7. Well, 8 is too much, so we're going to say 1 time. Now we're going to multiply. 4 times 1 is 4. Then we're going to subtract. 7 minus 4 is 3. 3 is smaller than 4, so far, so good. I'm going to bring it up the next step. 3 comes here. How many times is 3? 4 go into 39, sorry. 4 into 39. If I look at the bottom, it's 36. So I'm going to put a 9 at the top because 4 times 9 is 36. I'm going to multiply. 4 times 9, 36. I'm going to subtract, and that's going to be 3. 3 is less than 4, so far so good. Going to bring that 3 up to the 30 to make it 32. How many times does 4 go into 32? Well, if I look, it goes exactly into 32 8 times. Now we're on the multiply. 4 times 8 is 32. Now I'm going to subtract. That's 0. 0 is less than 4. We're good there. I don't have any numbers left over, so I don't have a remainder. So 792 divided by 4 is 198. Hopefully you got the same answer. If not, go back through to the beginning of the video and go through step by step and practice again, because it just takes practice to get through it, to understand the steps and get comfortable with it. You can do it.